Jai Janind, everyone. We are at the second day of our workshop and we're going to complete our workshop today. So the name of this workshop is Spiritual Hacks for Deleting Any Kind of Negative Emotion or Emotions that don't support in our everyday growth. Okay, so let me share with you my screen so we can start right away, because I really want to finish up this presentation today and make sure that we don't miss anything from it. Okay, so this is what we were up to. Let me just recap quickly. Yesterday, we learned all the various ways we are creating negative emotions around us, how we are facing negative emotions, what are the different kind of negative emotions. We learned about how the body gets stressed by physical activities, how there is stress or negative emotions created with our thought processes of our passions. And spiritual triggers also, we checked out what were the spiritual ways that we were trying to bring stress in our whole body and what exactly this stress do to us. We learned through so many examples yesterday. Today we're going to move forward. So looks like we're completely convinced that we don't want to be in this stress state, right? We want to be in a state which is freedom, which is power, which is extraordinary, which is like super powerful. And for that, we understand that we need to delete our stressful state. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about how can we hack our system to eliminate this stress. Understand, what does hacking really mean? Okay, what does hacking really mean? So hacking means that someone hijacks us and takes us to another destination. For example, think about a dream world. Okay, think about a world which is above the clouds and it is filled up with some fairy stories and something powerful uh, those Superman stories and incredible stories, you know, all those, I don't know much name, what are the other names? Captain America and all those stuff out there, or fairy tale stories like Cinderella. Imagine, don't we imagine those worlds all the time? So imagine there's a world like this above the clouds. It really exists. Let's believe that for now. And now we are going in an aeroplane from one destination to another destination, from New York to, let's say, Miami. And now what happens, like on our way, suddenly we feel that we don't want to go to Miami. It's going to be too hot. I don't want to go to such a hot weather. And suddenly a feeling zone comes to you. I really want to go above the clouds. I want to go where I can be Cinderella. I want to be at a place where I can become that super powerful, incredible person or some superhero, super actor. And then suddenly what happens that you go and tell your pilot who is driving the aeroplane, and you tell them that, hey, Mr. Pilot, can you please take me to another destination? I don't want to go to Miami. And then he says, okay, let's see, you're really, really willing to not go to Miami. Where do you want to go? And you just tell them, hey, we want to go to the clouds. We want to go and feel our super beautiful selves or super powerful self. And then the pilot gets convinced by your desire, like how much you really want to do it, and you start crying, please, I beg you, I don't want to go to Miami. And then what happens, he changes his route, and in just one moment, because he's already in the clouds, it takes just one moment and he changes the direction of his flight and takes you to that world of the Incredibles, takes you to the world of fairy tale, and you actually start feeling it. You start feeling the magic happening inside you, because you feel you are right there now. You feel you are the Cinderella. You feel that you are the Captain America, or whatever names you know or you remember. How would that really feel? In just a click of a changing of the steering of that aeroplane, you suddenly land up into a different world. This is what hacking really means. So when we are in a state, okay, of something which we don't like, right? Something which is creating stress in our body, something which is creating negative emotions in our body. We have identified all those negative emotions, right? So we don't want to now stay in that anger zone, the anxiety, the depression, the congestion, the illness, keeping ourselves busy with physical act. We don't want to be in that state which takes us to stress. And we want to hijack our system, this aeroplane, and we want to take it to a different place. And what is that place? That place is exactly opposite of where we are right now. A place which is more beautiful, more wonderful, filled with wonders, filled with magic, filled with your powerful self, filled with your extraordinary person. And that's the place I'm going to take you today by hijacking you and your brain. Are you ready for that? Okay, give me a thumbs up. I don't see it. Let's see how many of you are prepared for this. Everyone, turn on your videos. It becomes so exciting for me to see all of you and to understand how you're taking this one up. Okay, let's move forward. Now, let's understand what does this hacking really mean? What happens when we are hacked? Remember, in the first workshop, I told you about 3 states of mind. One was the conscious mind, one was the subconscious mind, and one was the super conscious mind. Okay, so what happens is whatever we believe in, whatever we really trust that that's the way the things are, that is our subconscious mind. And that subconscious mind has got some things already fixed inside it. And when we take that name, it actually happens. For example, if you're really, really anxious and extremely excited or overwhelmed and you're not able to go to sleep, okay, it must have happened a few times to you. And now you cannot go to sleep. And in that moment, if you start telling to your head just one word, and the name of that one word is off. If you keep on saying off, you know what happens? Your subconscious mind knows that off means it's a word you use when you turn off the lights. So what does it do? It turns off your system so that you can sleep well. Wow, is that possible? Can we really sleep with that just one word, which says off? Yes, this is possible. And these kind of words are known as switch words. If you go online, you're going to see so many switch words being used today. Most common switch words which are used is when we are confused, when we can't take a decision. And if in that moment you keep on speaking to yourself, together, 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 suddenly you will be able to make a finest and the most perfect decision. Because together is a word which your subconscious mind believes that it needs to bring two things together. And when we are not able to make a decision, you know what's happening? The right brain is fighting with our left brain, and there's a fight, and they can't understand each other. And that's why we can't come to a conclusion or make a decision about anything. But the moment you start speaking together, 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 that's a word we have learned since our birth, right? Since a long time, since ages, that together means to bring something together. So the subconscious mind immediately gets the idea and it brings the two states of our mind, the negative and the positive, together. And we actually make the right decision in that moment. This is known as mind hacking. We do mind hacks using these switch words. That's the name. And there are so many more words that can be used if you are in fear, if you are in, if you are basically scared of things, if you are overexcited and you really want to calm down, if you are very anxious before giving your exams, certain words, switch words, if you use and your mind gets hacked. What does this mean? Your mind does not feel the anxious state at all. The new word gets introduced to the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind starts believing in the new word, and it actually changes the state. So while you're going for the exam and you start chanting, say the word for deleting the anxiousness is love, when you start chanting love, 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 you will not believe it, but your hands will no more shake while you're writing the paper. You will no longer sweat yourself out. You will no longer be stressed before the exam, just because your subconscious mind took that word as reality. It started believing in, because you already know what love feels like, right? When your mom hugs you, you feel loved, right? When you see something beautiful in the nature, you feel so much love towards it. When you see a small kid playing, you feel so much compassion and love flowing through you. So your whole body has memorized the feeling of love. And the moment you start chanting the word love, your system gets hijacked by the love, and the anxiousness or the fear gets deleted. And in that very moment, your whole system stops being anxious, stops being depressed, stops being fearful, stops being scared, stops being worried. All these emotions just get rid of in that moment. And your whole state changes into love, which is like happiness, joy. And now you're able to do your paper with much, much more concentration and focus. Does that make sense? Are you able to understand what I'm saying? Send me an emoji, or show me your thumbs up if you can understand, or if you want me to explain it more. I'm looking at you guys. Give me a thumbs up if you understand till now. Do you want me to move on, or do you want me to explain this more? Okay, Hiti, I can see you. Do you understand it? Okay, Vivan understands it. Hiti understands it. Okay, perfect. So there are a few people here who understand it. So I'm taking for granted that everyone is getting the concept. Look at one more example to understand what is this. Suppose in a room, you just enter inside a room, and then someone, say your mom or your dad, starts shouting at you. Hey, why did you came so late? Don't you realize it's the time to eat food? Don't you know this? Don't you know that? And suddenly there is what? A huge state of anxiousness inside you, or guilt inside you. What did I do? Or maybe rage and anger. Hey, listen to my side of the situation, right? So what happened? Here, your whole emotion has gone into a turmoil, and you have become stressed, because the negative emotions come over your whole being. You know, how can you hack this with your physical body? You can actually change the place. Instead of being in the room, you would say, hey, mom and dad, I'll listen to you. Give me 5 minutes. And you immediately go up into your room and put on some soothing music. Suddenly, your state changes. This is known as body hack. That means you change your space or place or your body conditions or your activities. And the moment you change it, your mind also changes. Your mind is no longer involved into the sadness or the hurt. You're feeling through it. And suddenly, suppose in your room, you turn on your iPad and you start watching something very interesting. What happens? The whole anger flies away. You don't know where the anger is gone. And your whole state changes into something more exciting when you're watching different things on the TV, right? So this is your body just got hacked, and you cannot feel the old emotions. The new emotions take over in a moment just by changing your place. This is hacking by body. What is hacking by mind? When you switch states of your, when you switch your mental state, as I told you by the example using switch word, this is hacking with your mind. You just use certain words to change your state of mind into something more favorable towards you, and you changed an unfavorable or undesired situation into something more favorable. So this is what is mind hacking. But today we are going to talk about spiritual hacking. But before that, let me tell you a little secret about your subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind, this is a secret, don't tell anyone, okay? Our subconscious mind does not know the difference. Our subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's happening in front of us and what we imagine. If in your imagination you are in a fairy tale world, or you are in a superpower state, right? Your mind does not know what is reality, and it really feels and believes that you are actually in this fairy tale world and you're not here in your body. because your subconscious mind does not know the difference between the two. That's why it happens. So when we are using these hacks, which is like switch words and changing our psyche, when you start feeling it, when you start feeling the word love, when you start feeling the word together, when you start feeling the word um, off, what is happening? Your subconscious believes in it. And once it believes in it, the work is done. Trust me. Every single stress in our body would be poof out. It won't exist anymore. This is known as hacking techniques. And spiritual hack is beyond it. So let me tell you one example. What happened one time, there was a girl, I think 10 years old, and she hated bananas. She didn't want to eat bananas. And you know what I did? I said, hey, you don't like bananas, right? And she said, yes, I don't like bananas. And you know, like there were like 5 kids in the room and all of them were munching and enjoying the bananas. And she said, I don't like it. I don't want it. Okay. Don't even talk to me about it. Then I said, okay, let's do one thing. Okay, I won't tell you that you like bananas. I'm not going to do anything to you. All I'm going to tell you is, since already you don't like banana, so how does it matter if you just say I like banana? I'm just telling you to speak it, that I like bananas. Don't even bother. I'm not even telling you to change your taste or stop hating bananas. No, keep on hating bananas. I'm fine with it. Just do it. But can you right now chant 108 times that I like bananas? And she was so resistant. She was not even ready to actually, go for it. There was so much resistance. She was feeling, what if I start eating bananas? I don't want to eat it. It was all in the mind. There was nothing to do with the taste, really. Everything was in the mind. And then she was so resistant, and I pleaded, please believe in me. I don't want you to change your liking or disliking for banana. It's okay you hate it, but I just want to do an experiment. Just say for the sake of it that you like bananas. And she said, okay, since you're insisting so much, I'll do it, but I hate bananas. I said, okay, I understand that. And she started chanting. I said, 108 times, start now. She started chanting, I like bananas, 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 I like bananas. And you know what happened by the end of the 108th beat. Of course, she went forward and started eating the bananas because the word like was a switch word. She did not know about it. And the moment you use the word like, your subconscious believes that you really like something, even though your mind doesn't believe in it. And she actually started enjoying and eating the bananas after 108 times she chanted it. She didn't know that I was using a mind hack. Okay, so this is a very interesting class because you're going to learn some amazing hacking techniques. Okay, I will try to simplify it for you as much as possible, and it might extend, the class might extend a little bit more than our usual time, which is 4:30 ending, but just bear with me because I really want you to understand this concept and apply it in real life. So what is a spiritual hack? Spiritual hack is when we hack our system. Our system means our subconscious mind, right? Using super conscious state of mind. Do you remember what I talked about super conscious state? Super conscious was something which was extraordinary. And what can you imagine to be extraordinary right now? How about the qualities of the soul? Aren't they extraordinary? Number one quality, that you are totally in a state of bliss and happiness, happily forever, never ever ending happiness. That's what the state of the soul is. That's the super conscious state. How about potential? You have infinite potential inside you. What does this mean? That means that you can do anything and everything. You want to mature things in your thousand toys, you can do that because you have super potential ability to do that, right? So this is like infinite potential ability which the perfect, the pure soul has inside them. Another quality, the third one, which is infinite knowingness. They just know anything and everything. And do you know what? The word knowing or knowledge itself is a spiritual hack. The moment you start using the word knowledge, What happens even if you don't understand a concept, you start understanding it. Doesn't matter how hard it is, but that subconscious mind actually switches on and starts grasping the information, because we are made up of the super powerful consciousness, right? It's just that with our body we have limited ourselves, with our age we have limited ourselves. But if you actually activate your super conscious brain state inside yourself, you are able to achieve the same results as them. Very interesting. They have super powerful infinite perception. What does that mean? That means that they just know everything from the right perspective. They are able to grasp anything and everything that comes in front of them. And that's the superpowers we want within ourselves. We can, you know what, right now the superpowers, for example, one superpower is a Superman who can fly in air and lift heavy objects. So one superpower is a fireman, I think, who can walk on fire and move around. One Superman is like a Iceman who can walk on ice. Do you see what I'm trying to tell you? All of these superpowers are one at a time. One person can have one superpower. Can you imagine a person who has got all these superpowers at one time? Well, what's the name of that person who has all the superpowers at one instance, at one time? Okay, so the name of this super powerful person is a Samyak Drashti. What's the name? Speak it with your own word, with your own accent. Samyak Drashti. One more time. Samyak Drashti. He is a super powerful, extraordinary person with these powers, which can hack our mind and system and remove and delete any kind of stress. Why did I choose this person? Because this is a person who is never ever stressed, who never ever has any kind of negative emotion towards them, never ever towards him or her. Okay, and that is the system we want to hack into, because we don't want any kind of diseases in our body. We want all our senses to be full of wisdom till the end of time, right? All things we discussed yesterday, we want all of them. We want to be alert all the time. We don't want to be careless or all the negative words everyone has been talking to us about. We don't want to be any of those, right? So Samik Drishti is the person who has achieved that state, and that's why I'm using his hack or her hack. We are going to enter into his mind and understand who he truly is, and every time use his state, his thinking, his perception, his knowledge as our hacks, so that we can get rid of any kind of negative emotion. Look what kind of person he is. He or she is always steady in any flow of life. What does that mean? If an earthquake comes, he's calm and silent and he's super creative. If a volcano comes, he just knows what's the right thing to do. If it starts having pouring rain, he's not at all fearful about it. He knows exactly what needs to be done in that moment. And the fear doesn't come into his system. There's no anxiousness inside his system. He is completely and all the time happy. And he doesn't have to think about happiness. It's like naturally there. We have to think about happiness. Why? Because our happiness is dependent on ice creams. Our happiness is dependent on chocolates. Our happiness is dependent on love coming from our parents. You see how we are dependent? But Samik Drashti's happiness is not dependent. It's an ever-flowing field of joy. He can feel that joy and he knows and he understands that's who he is. A Samyak Drishti is a person who has unshakable faith in his soul. No matter what, you can't shake his faith. He knows that there are 4 infinite properties in the soul: infinite knowingness, infinite perception, infinite potential to do anything and whatever he wants to, infinite bliss, happiness, which is never ending. He knows that that's inside him, and he never ever forgets about it. Doesn't matter what phase of life he is in, what situation he is in, he doesn't forget about it ever. And one who is awakened, who always sees the things in the right perspective, exactly knows what's fear doing to me and what I need to think about it. He just knows it. You know what? The biggest thing about a Samyak Drishti person is he doesn't have to He doesn't have to run after wealth. He doesn't have to run after accumulating things. You know why? Because he's so smart and intellectual that actually the wealth or the money or the abundance runs after him. You know how we are running after money, we are running after finances, we are running after, I want this, I want that, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that, I want to get so many medals. We are running after all those things to gain them. But it's an opposite state with Samyak Drishti. He doesn't have to run after these things. He is in a state where he is rewarded all the time, no matter what. Every single time, the wealth, the money, the best things in the life, they want to come to him because they feel that our vibration matches only to this person who's Samyak Drishti, no one else. So it comes to them naturally. He becomes a magnet for attracting the best and the richest and the most loveliest things in the world. His body has become like a charged magnet. It keeps on drawing these iron filings towards him, and he is still in a state of no desires for them. Can you believe that? Imagine thousands of toys around you, and now you feel, hey, I know it's all mine, but it's not mine. I am separate from them. I know it's not going to affect my emotions, whether it's there or it's not there. He is constantly in a state of like super satisfaction. I'm satisfied with or without anything in my life. That's who Samyak Drishti is. One who has healing vision. He is very easily, he can understand the situation and he would say, I forgive you. I forgive myself. It's so easy for him. For us, it's not that easy. If someone says bad words to us, what happens? We want to backbite on them. We want to say bad words back to them. That's what we do, right? But a Samyak Drishti person, he's at peace. He is totally not stressed. He would always just move forward and forgive himself and them both together. That's who a Samyak Drishti person is. So from now onwards, I'm going to use the word SD to understand who the Samyak Drishti is. Let's move to our next slide, because it is by hacking the system of the Samyak Drishti, we are going to create some switch words for ourselves. And we're going to chant these switch words so that we are able to awaken our subconscious mind towards these words. The moment we speak a switch word, which would be related to the Samyak Drishti, our whole system will be hijacked by the Samyak Drishti's mind and powers. And I told you the secret, right? The subconscious doesn't know what is reality and what you are thinking. What you are thinking, it believes that's the reality. So when you start thinking about the Samyak Drishti, and turn on these switch words, your whole system gets out of the stress mode. There is no more negative emotion left inside you, and you become super creative, super powerful. You start getting rewards from every single place. You start getting praise from every single place because you yourself put yourself into a state which is super rewarding, just like a Samyak Drishti. Okay, so can we hack into Samyak Drishti's systems for the same result as how he is or she is? Yes, we can hack his system and we can get the same results for ourselves in moments by using some switch words. So number one point is we need to choose and make our own switch words. Number two, we need to select. I right now shared so many qualities of Samyak Drishti, right? Specifically, these are like all compiled under 8 categories, 8 specific qualities of a Samyak Drishti. But from the 8, just now, for this workshop, we are going to choose only 4 qualities. Okay, and using these 4 qualities, we are going to hack our spiritual state into something which is much, much more higher. Chant it enough to make it mantra out of it. So we are going to chant each of these switch words, the new words that we are going to create right now, at least 9 times. But if you have your own phones, cell phones, if you have a piece of paper and pen, you can write down these words and you can start chanting 108 times, so that when your system gets memorized by these words, you can use these words at a what do you say, blink of an eye. Just name it, just call the switch word and it will happen. Okay, so write down the words, and your workshop by yourself would be chanting them so that your body can memorize it. Let's go to the next slide. First switch word that I'm going to use here, and the name of this switch word is Neha Shanked. Speak with me. Neha Shanked. 3 times. Neha Shanked. One more time. Neha Shanked. What does this mean? So Neha Shanked is one of the switch words that we are creating right now. Okay, and what does this mean? This means a person who has, like Samyak Drishti, right? He has this quality, Samyak Drishti, who has unfathomable faith in the properties of the soul. No matter what, no one can shake that faith from him. He or she completely knows that I am super powerful, super bliss, super perception, super knowingness, super potential, and no one can shake his faith about this. He believes that there is God inside him, and he also believes that there's presence of God in every single person around him. Right? This is what Nishankit means. Another word is he's constantly affirming. What is he affirming? I know, I know, I know. What does this mean? You have the perception, super perception, to just know the things in its right perspective and never ever be defeated by your vision. Okay, no matter what you see in the front of your eyes may not be the truth. The truth might be something else. For example, if you have a pot and your mom says, hey, don't touch the pot, it's wet. And you would say, I see it, it's not wet. Hey dear, you cannot see whether the pot is wet or not. Can you see that? No, you cannot see it. But if you go near it, you can smell it, right? You can smell it. When you touch it, you know, you feel it is wet, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that there, with your vision, there might be possible, there are some things that is not visible to you. But with the vision of a Samyak Drishti, everything becomes crystal clear. You just know anything and everything in its right perspective. Even with your eyes closed, you know, you understand why your friend has come to you, what he wants to talk to you about. You know it with complete clarity. You get that? That's what this affirmation zone is. And what is the level of operation? You start with the word Nishankit, which is like Samyak Drishti's word, complete courage inside you. You have so much courage that you can take absolute bold steps in your life. You can move forward and actually do things with a lot of courage. That's what Nishankit is. Now look what I'm going to share with you. How do you apply this word Nishankit? See, first look at the difference between you, difference between my thinking, and difference between a Samyak Drishti's thinking. And in that perspective, you will be able to apply the word Nishankit much more. So we are going to right now apply the switch word Nishankit to our state of fear. Look at this. You, me, and Samyak Drishti. Okay. So now what happens when we have fear? Suppose a snake comes to us. Suddenly a huge big snake pounds on us, right? Is walking towards us, is crawling towards us. What are we going to do? Look at it. Isn't it that's what we're going to do? Either we're going to run away. Ma, save me. Father, Papa, save me, right? That's how we're going to respond to it. True? Or you might just freeze there. You just don't know how to breathe, what to do. There's a snake and you're like, ah, and there's no words coming out of your mouth. Correct? So we have only 2 reactions, either to run away or to freeze in the moment. That's all we're gonna do when a snake comes to us. What would I do if a snake comes to me? Okay, I will watch that I have a lot of fear inside me for this snake. I would be a little bit more calmer than you. Okay, I would stay there still. Okay, and probably I would try to think like, is there some way that I can scare the snake away? Or I will try to apply my knowledge. Is there a way that I can do something to get out of the pathway of the snake? I would be doing a much more deeper thinking about it. This is what I would do if I were you, if the snake comes towards me. Okay, but yes, I would be fearful, and that's why I'm trying to find a solution to get rid of that fear. That's what happens with me. Okay, so this was you and this is me. Now look what a Samyak Drishti does in the same situation. A Samyak Drishti does not see the snake as fearful. I will repeat it. A Samyak Drishti does not see the snake as fearful. They see the snake as a challenge, and they become courageous, and they feel to move forward with their courage, to keep on doing what they were doing, because they have a 100% tremendous faith in the qualities of their soul. They know nothing can happen to their soul. The soul lives forever, no matter what. The snake can do no damage to their soul. They will live happily forever and forever. It can damage the body, but that's okay. That's one phase of life, but it will not do anything, and it will stay much calmer. So Samyak Drishti will stay there much calmer, and there will be a smile on his face as if he could see beyond the reality. And you know what, really, if you can stay calmer, you can actually realize that maybe the snake is here for a purpose, and you can actually become more creative with it. Very, very creative. You just know, you just start understanding what the snake wants, and you allow or feed the snake what the snake wants. And because you become suddenly creative, there's no more fear in it. You're full of courage, and you're full of challenge there, how to tackle the situation, right? And sometimes in many other situations, Samyak Drishti might even turn into a humor. And he would say, hey, snake darling, looks like you're looking for a bowl of milk or something that you really like. Let me get it to you and let me satisfy you. That presence of mind is possible only with a Samyak Drishti. So next time, whenever we are scared of things, we have fear, what can we do in that moment? We can actually turn on a switch word in our mind. And this switch word will work, remember, will work only if you have chanted it 108 times. If you have chanted it enough, not right now when the fear is there, but you have done your homework before. You have chanted it in your free time, in your leisure time, in your time when your homework is done and you feel like doing something, you would actually go and sit in quiet place and activate these words. Neha Shanked, Neha Shanked, Neha Shanked. You keep on activating the word by chanting it 108 times. And now, when you're scared of something, when you're facing the fear, you just start using the word Neha Shanked, Neha Shanked, Neha Shanked. I am Samyak Drishti Jeev in this moment, and I want to see the real thing. I want to be creative. Neha Shanked, Neha Shanked. And suddenly what happens? That your system gets hijacked and your mind starts believing that you are a Samyak Drishti Jeev, and now you're no more full of fear. The fear gets replaced by a challenge in your mind and you become super creative. Do you get that? Take the picture of this slide if you want to, because this will help you memorize exactly what and how to work with the Neha Shanked word and use that switch word. Let's move onwards towards the second super powerful state of Samyak Drishti. Nihikankshit. Speak with me 3 times. Nihikankshit. 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 Nihikankshit means a person who just have ultimate trust in whatever is happening. It means that that person does not have any desires. So you know why we are deceitful, why we want to trick others? Because we have a desire inside us that either we want that piece of chocolate and that's why we want to trick our little brother or sister and not give him or her. So we have these states of desires in us. And that's the reason that we actually start becoming jealous about things. We start becoming more deceitful about things, right? So there's so many emotions, and I told you that these emotions are negative emotions. They take your system into a stress, and when your system is into your stress, there is no more wisdom in your organs or your body, and we start deteriorating our own state. Okay, we don't even live a complete human being life. Why? Because we damage our senses, we start wearing glasses, we damage this, we start damaging our feeling sensations, so many things we start damaging. We don't want that. We want to hack into some drishti system, right? So Nekankshit, he is in a state of a Nekankshit all the time. He has no desires. And you know why he has no desires? He has one special type of feeling zone, and that feeling zone is, look at this symbol I have used, a reward. He feels that he is constantly in a state of reward. He feels that the life is rewarding to him all the time, as if the life is there to serve him, as if anything and everything that is happening around him is happening because it's meant to be for him. He believes in that. He has no desires left in him, no want. The energy of the wants, that I want goodwill, that I want everything to happen good to me, that I want my things to mature properly, that I want so many things in my life to feel happy. All those wants are like a sticky charge on our soul. And you know what it attracts? It just attracts dust and mud. It does not attract nice flowers, because the charge is actually in sync or with the same vibration of mud and dust. And that's why our desires and wants are never fulfilled. We keep on desiring and wanting, and there are more desires and wants keep on happening with us. But a Samik Drishti's state is no desires. He feels constantly rewarded. Imagine if you can feel in this moment that you have everything. Imagine that. In this moment, just feel you just have everything. Everything means everything. You have infinite knowingness, you have infinite perception, you have infinite feeling zones of goodness and happiness and bliss. Imagine you are in that state, right? Would you ever want something or anything? No, because you know you have everything. So in this moment, if you feel you have everything, that's what a Samidrashti feels all the time. He feels that he just has anything and everything. He doesn't feel the need or the desire to gain more and more, or to accumulate more clothes, more this, more that. And since he's in that rewarding state, remember what I said? New things and the best things of life get drawn towards him, because he becomes like a charged magnet. And the good and the best things of the life just get drawn towards him. A Samyak Drishti person believes that I'm an all possible zone. He's Nikankshit state. Nikankshit state is like anything and everything is possible through me. There's no such thing as impossible in my dictionary. How many impossible words you have in your dictionary? Think about it. How many times you tell to yourself, I can't do this, I can't do that, because there are hidden desires inside you, the hidden desires of anything, and you're not able to do things, move forward with it, right? So when you are in a state that no matter what comes to me, I'm in all possible zone, I can do anything and everything, that's the Nirkankshit state of the Samyak Drishti. What does he say? I do not need to extract my happiness from the outside world, right? Because he's feeling all the time so much contented, satisfied, and happy, because he has no desires inside him. And that's why he has all the happiness inside him. Nothing he needs to buy from ice creams. He doesn't need to buy happiness from anything out there, right? So this is the state of Nirkankshit. Now let's see how we can apply the Nirkankshit word, which is a switch word, and you need to activate again this switch word by chanting it 108 times. If you switch it on, let's see how we behave, how you behave, how I behave, and how a Samyak Drishti behaves when we are in a state of rage and anger. Now imagine, I think this slide is cutting off a little bit, but I will take you on. Imagine how would we respond to an anger state? So imagine a time when suddenly your friend comes to you and starts speaking some really, really angry words towards you. You will respond by protecting yourself. You'll say, hey, what you're saying is not right. And I don't think you should speak such bad words about me. Or you might say, hey, I think you are speaking such mean words to me. I think you are mean. What do we start doing? We start backbiting. We start labeling the person as an angry, because the anger is coming out of him. So this is what we do. Either we want, why we do that? Because we want to control the situation. We want to take the ball in our hand. When a person is shouting, of course, his voice is louder than you, right? The ball is not in your court. It is not, the situation is not under your control. And suddenly what happens? You would want the situation in your control. So you would start saying bad words to him or her, or you would start saying that all these bad things that you're telling in me, it's inside you. You start rejecting the feeling so that you get complete control of the situation. These are our normal reactions when an angry situation takes place. Look, what would I do if I was in an angry state? So since I know the Jain science a little bit, a teeny mini bit, probably I would start exploring my karma. And I would say, hey, maybe it's because of my karmas. This person is so angry at me. And I would just sit quiet and just face my own sadness and grief. That's what I would start doing. Right. And then I might also sit down and wait for the difficult times to pass away. I would wait when this person finally goes away from me and there's no more anger here. So I would be a little bit more calmer than you, because I'm in a state where I've learned lots of lessons in my life. So that's a conclusion that I come to, that maybe there is a reason. Maybe it's because of the karma that this is happening. What would a Samyak Drishti do in the same situation? Look at that. A Samyak Drishti knows the nature of reality, and his sense of humor is super duper, it's super crazy sense of humor. He would convert that situation into a humor. Okay, he knows and understands that um, anything and everything can be seen from various perspectives. He would understand that this person is angry because he's seeing bad things inside me. He can see that. Okay, and he also knows that there could be different perspective to the same situation, and my perspective is that I'm not that bad, that I did not do it. He would stay quiet. He would just see the two perspectives as two different places. He would not reject the person. He would not say bad words to the person, and neither would he feel bad about himself or feel guilt about himself. Neither would he blame on his karmas like what I did. So he would be so beautifully humorous about this situation that he might actually tell that person that, okay, it's done probably. I think your head is now burning so much with the anger that if I bring a cooking utensil and put it on your head, probably the milk inside the utensil will start boiling with the anger, with the heat which is generating from your head. He can create any kind of humorous situation, but he would change the subject there and then, because he knows that nothing stays forever. He knows that anything and everything like anger, greed, deceit, ego, all these are our desires. And it's because of these desires that the person is actually acting the way he's acting. And he would actually be in a state of nekankshit. He would say that I don't have any desires in me. So I will see and respect the person the way he is. And I would respect myself also. And let's change the situation to something more creative and better. Don't we all want to do that? Don't we want that kind of control with ourselves, right? That nobody can make us angry in this world. Nobody can make us irritated in this world. Is it really possible? Yes. When we turn on the switch word and we say, and in that moment think, how would a Samyak Drishti think about it? And what would we do? We would immediately change our state as if we are Samyak Drishti, and we would actually turn the situation into much, much more humor. Correct? So that's how a Samyak Drishti acts, and use the word Shanked for this. Or the easiest way is to think what a Samyak Drishti feels and thinks in this moment. And then we can turn it on. Third quality of the Samyak Drishti. So we're taking 4 qualities, right? So the third quality of the Samyak Drishti is Nirvichikitsa. So speak with me, please, 3 times. Nirvichikitsa. 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 What does Nirvichikitsa mean? Nirvichikitsa is a complete optimistic feeling zone. Okay, what does this mean? Look at the picture that I have put up here. You see a prism. Imagine this is the Samyak Drishti. The prism is the Samyak Drishti. Okay, and there's like one ray of light coming in. Okay, what we are perceiving with our eyes is just one aspect what that person is telling us, correct? But a Samik Drishti Jeeves converts that one single-sided vision, and he knows that there are many perspectives to things, or that this person is not that bad. There is much, much more things beyond than what this person can even know. This person actually knows that there is soul existing inside this person who is coming towards me with any kind of rage feeling, and that this person also has a soul inside who has the ability to get into his own infinite capacity, to his own state of unlimited joy. He believes in that. And because he believes in that, he never ever threatens anyone. He never ever says bad words to anyone. Doesn't matter. He's always optimistic about things. He always sees the better side of things. That's what Nirvichikatsa is. He's always willing to look forward into what the situation is bringing towards me. He has a healing vision. He can always heal things with his own insight. He would think just the right thing and the things will be healed. He knows that everything and anything in the world is happening for a reason. And no matter what, I must respect the situation. What does this mean? Suppose suddenly we go out of this house and there's a big rock and we tumble down the rock, correct? So what would a Samidrishti person believe in this moment? That this rock came in here in front of me for a reason. I respect it, and I'm going to understand what that reason is, and his mind becomes more creative about it. That's how a Samik Drishti operates. So every single moment his mind is open with ideas, with willingness to accept what is happening in front of him. Okay, and no matter what, he never loses respect. He's always respectful to whatever, even the people who disrespect him, he is still respectful for them. That's what Nirvichikatsa is about. He knows that every single person is at their own level of maturity. And that's why he's not going to blame someone for being mean or blame someone for being bad. But he knows that there will be a time when this person will be awakened and would understand things in a better way. Maybe the way I'm able to understand. He believes in that. Let's see how we can apply the Nirvichikatsa. Now think of a situation, you, me, and Samyak Drishti. There's something which is like full of disgust. How would we respond to that disgust? Ew, get away. You're too smelly. I don't want to see that. That's how we react to it. Or if someone is, let's take a situation where there is a person whose body is really sick and it's really smelling. And what do? We want to ignore that body. We want to just get away from there, right? Suppose there is a person in your class who has a bad smell. And what do? You start gossiping about that bad smell, right? You feel disgusted about that bad smell. You want to avoid that person. You want to just exit the room. Isn't that what we all do when we feel the disgust? We just keep on avoiding those things. Look at what I would do. With all my years of experience of life, I came to that, I would put a logic to that. Why is this person feeling so smelly? Why is this whole situation so disgusting? I will start putting logic to it. Then I would say, maybe he did not he did not change his clothes from yesterday, or maybe he forgot to, he ended up into falling into mud or somewhere dirty, or maybe he entered to some smelly place and that's why his clothes are smelly. So even though I'm sitting there, I'm not avoiding him, but I start putting logic to it, that maybe so and so would have happened. That's why he's like that. So I'm like intellectual, I'm like intelligent, I'm trying to put my logic towards it. But how would a Samik Drishti look at the same situation which is full of disgust? Look at this, what does he say? He would start paying attention to the qualities of the person and would not see that that person is disgusted. If in the room everyone is running away from that kid, this Samik Drishti would actually be seeing that this person has helped me in so many ways. He has always brought some nice marks. He always understands some concepts which are better than what I can understand. This person was one time when it was his birthday, he actually gave me an amazing return gift. He brought some nice cupcakes. He would start thinking about this person as all the good qualities that he has ever had in his life. And this Sabyadrashti person would never ever feel disgusted. He would have a healing vision. What is the healing vision? He would see the qualities in that person, and because of that qualities, he would not even feel disgusted or run away or feel like avoiding that person. Don't we want that feeling zone in us? So whenever we have such kind of situations in our hand, what do? Turn on your super extraordinary Samyakdrishti mind and say that I am Nirvichikitsa, 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 and turn on your healing glasses and start looking at the person with all his good qualities. And suddenly what will happen? That you will transform your state. This you can also do with any situation in your life which is disgusting. You can start putting up a lens of a Samyak Drishti and see that situation as that there is something good in it, something which is going to teach me a lesson and I can move forward. Remember this example of the tumbling stone? What would happen if we stumbled? We would say, oh, how dare this stone come into my, it's because of the stone. You start blaming it that I got hurt, it's because of the stone, mama. You know what, there's so much blood coming out of it. You don't see what, that it was you who didn't see the stone, but you start blaming the stone for your hurt. What would I do? Probably I would see that it was my carelessness, that because of me that the stone stumbled. But what would a Samyak Drishti do? A Samyak Drishti would see, aha, there is a lesson for me to be learned. I'm ready for it. I want to see the bigger reality. I'm willing to face whatever comes to me. I am ready for it. Imagine if we are ready for anything, everything. Imagine if we are in all possible zone. Imagine such superpowers with us that no matter what, none of the negativity can even touch us. Did you see in this example that despite having my logic sense, I was still feeling the disgust? Right? And I was trying to give a logic to it. In your situation, you were also feeling disgust and you were trying to avoid the disgust. But look at Samyak Drishti. He does not have a place for disgust because in that moment, what he's seeing is the qualities of that person. Amazing. Wow. And that's why he's never stressed. There's no negative emotion memorized in his body. And he's able to do wonders. He can even lift up a mountain because he's so courageous. He has so much power. Trust me, he can do that. Okay, let's go to our last and the fourth point, what the Samyak Drishti does. And the name of this switch word is Upguhan. Speak with me. Upguhan. One more time. Upguhan. This is a switch word. Take a picture of this slide and turn on the switch word for you by chanting it again 108 times. What does Upguhan mean? This person who's a Samyak Drishti is like an extremely modest person. That means that he never boasts about himself no matter what. Even if you compliment him for 100, 1,000 things, he would still see that it is you who is the person to be complimented, who needs to be supported, and who needs to be rewarded for. Why? Because it's your vision that you could see something good inside me. So I'm thankful for your vision. He's so modest. He would never boast about himself no matter what. He would quickly forgive if any situation ever happens because he doesn't perceive hurt. He would immediately forgive things. And that's his underlying emotion. He will always be in a state of forgiveness, constant forgiveness. Okay, and then his level of operation is acceptance. No matter whatever happens to him, he accepts it. Even if there is a state of slight emotion or desire coming in him, he would still be in a state of acceptance. I accept it. anything happens in, earthquake comes, tornadoes comes, he would say, I accept it. He would not change his feeling zone. He would not become negative in that moment. He has that superpower because of his internal state of mind. He's very appreciative of others. He would always appreciate and look at the good qualities in other persons and constantly appreciate them. And he would the biggest part of the Ubguhan is that he would always recognize his own shortcoming, and he would never ever speak anyone's secrets out there in the loud. He would always safeguard others' secrets. He would always safeguard his friends' goodness, and would never ever speak anything bad about anyone ever. This is what Ubguhan Ang is. And you know what, how we can apply this Ubguhan switch word? Suppose there is a situation where you are threatened. Okay, now there are like two groups of gang, and both the gangs come to you, and you are like in the middle. You just joined the new school, the first grade or the seventh grade or the high school or the college. Now what happens is, suddenly when you enter inside, there are always people who form their own groups, and now none of those groups want to include you, and they threaten you, dare you to anything, we're not going to include with us. And they start threatening you with certain things that you never expected. Okay, and how would you respond to that threaten? Look at this. You would say, hey, listen, if you do this to me, I'm going to complain about you to the principal of the school. Right? Wouldn't we do that? Or you would say that, how dare you threaten me? I can bang your head also. I'm so powerful. I can do this. I can do that. Right? So either we would start threatening them, or we would, if we don't have courage to threaten them, what would we do? We would go and complain about them to others, to more higher authorities, so that these people can be taken care of. That's what we would do. We will feel a lot of anxiousness inside us. We will be full of so much insecurity that what if someone, if I do something and again they watch me, and what will happen? You feel threatened all the time. And this state of threatening is not stress. It's actually distress, which leads to shutting down of our internal organs and system. Okay, so at any point of time, we would always look at their shortcomings. We never see inside ourselves what's happening inside us. Okay, if it was me who was threatened, what would I do? I would be quiet, and I would take the blame on myself, and I would investigate my feelings, and I would explore, why did this person say or act this way? Maybe he is misinterpreting my actions to some extent, or maybe they just don't want me in the group. It's okay, I will do my own work. So that's what the state I am with my logical sense. I will not fight or do anything but be quiet, and would start experiencing my own inner state at the same time. What would a Samik Drishti do in this situation? He would always have the ability to forgive. He would say, no problem, you are acting this way. If it is justified to you, it is justified. I don't blame you for anything. Okay, they will, Samik Drishti will never ever send the energy or the charge of blaming anyone or find an excuse for something. Never ever do that. He knows that the biggest thing, the superpower that he has, he knows that his soul cannot be threatened. He knows that his soul lives forever, no matter what. No one in this world can threaten. It's only your mind who can threaten yourself. So he's not fearful of anything. He never submits to fear. And he would be super powerful in that state. And even though he has to stay alone by himself, he would be super courageous to do anything and everything. And he would never ever feel lonely, because he knows that the soul is the powerful. It has all the qualities, no matter what. I am never alone. I always have the properties of soul inside me. So I'm super powerful. And he would never ever feel the need to be included into the different groups who are threatening him. Okay, that's how a Samik Drishti will think and feel. So we did a lot of things today. We looked at the 4 qualities of the Samik Drishti, right? And we used 4 magical words onto the Samik Drishti state that we can actually use for ourselves. right? So let's see the different situations where we can apply these 4 switch words. Look at this application of the switch words. This is what I created for you. So please take a picture of this slide, because whenever you are in a state and facing low self-esteem, low self-worth, you don't feel like facing yourselves, or you are feeling scared and fearful, or you're feeling insecure, as if nothing gives you rest, in your heart, you're anxious, or in all these states, you can use the word Shanked. Shanked means courage. Okay, Shanked is equivalent to courage. The moment you use this word courage, Shanked, courage, Shanked, courage, Shanked, you turn on the super powerful state of a Samik Drishti, and suddenly in all these situations, courage come out of you, and you will never ever run away from the situation. Okay, now next, look at the next section. When your expectations are not met, when you are full of anxiety, anxiousness, you're a lot of worried, there's a lot of anger, rage inside you. In that moment, use the word nehkamshit, which is equivalent to trust. I trust. I trust. Nehkamshit. I trust. The moment you start chanting that, you will be filled with so much internal rewards and happiness that you would never want to expect anything from anyone. You will not feel anxious. You will not feel worried or enraged. Use this word. Look at the third one. We use nirvichikitsa. Apply it to depression, to guilt, and to feeling inferiority complex. Whenever we are feeling low about something, use the word nirvichikitsa, which is the healing vision. And now say, I'm willing. Nirvichikitsa, I'm willing to see the bigger reality. Nirvichikitsa, I'm willing to see the goodness in everything and everyone. That is what nirvichikitsa is doing to the 3 states here. Upguhan, use this one for when you are frustrated with anything in life, when people blame you or you feel like blaming others, when you feel again insecure. All these situations you can use the switch word Upguhan. The moment you start chanting this word Upguhan, forgiveness, Upguhan, I forgive, Upguhan, I forgive. And you know what happens? Within moments, and when I'm telling you within moments, I really mean within moments. Actually, if you master this state, then within 30 seconds, actually you can change your state and use the spiritual hack to change your state of stress or negative emotions to completely optimistic, positive state, super powerful, extraordinary state. Use this. Take a picture. One more time, I'm telling you to do this. So I'm repeating the steps. What do we need to do? Number 1, we need to identify. Take a picture of this slide also, please. Number 1, we need to identify. We need to identify our stress or our negative emotion. If we don't identify, we don't know what to work on. You must identify. Is it anxiety? Is it fear? It is depression? It is insecurity? Identify it and give it a number. Say, right now I feel depressed, or I feel bored. I feel bored from a scale of 0 to 10, a number is 7. A number 7, I feel bored, right? A number 7, I feel anger. A number 5, I feel rage. A number 9, I feel anger towards something, right? So identify and give a number to it. Number 2 step, apply. Apply the spiritual hack by asking. In that moment, ask yourself the question, what would a Samyak Drishti do or think in this situation? Ask yourself that one question, very important. That's the second step. What would a Samyak Drishti would do in the same situation? Number 3, choose a switch word and chant. Neshankat, Nekangshat, Upguhan, Nirvichikitsa. Or you can also use English words, forgive, courage, the words that we have used right now, which I took in the presentation. Use all the 4 words there, right? Willingness, and change your state. Use that spiritual hack and change your mind towards more extraordinary. But remember to track. Finally, check what number your stress is at now. Once you have done the 3 steps properly, which is identified the emotion, given it a number, and then applied the question, what would a Samyak Drishti do or think in the same situation? Number 3, you choose a switch word and start chanting it. After a while, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you track give yourself a number. My anger was at number 9. Now my anger, even if I feel I want to be angry, I'm not able to be angry. My anger has gone down to a number 1 or to a number 0. Track it. Bring it to number 0 by constantly chanting. How would you know that you have done enough chanting? You would know when your feeling has gone to a as low number as 3, 2, 1, or 0. That means that your chanting is working. And now, even if you're thinking anger and you're not able to think anger anymore, you're not able to feel anger anymore, right? That's when the work is done. You have applied it absolutely correctly. And that's how you have now this amazing, super powerful tool to do and create and to be whosoever you want to be by deleting every kind of stress and distress in your body and using your body to memorize some powerful words. And then those powerful words make you an extraordinary, super powerful person. Got it? That was my presentation for today. So look at the 4 words I've chosen for you. It's very beautiful. I just picked up from internet. Happiness is the new rich. That's what Samik Drishti is. Richness is not from wealth. It's really when you are totally, truly happy, you feel rich, because that's the contrast between a rich person and a beggar. A beggar is never happy, always wanting something, but a rich person is always happy. You need to get yourself into that feeling zone of a Samik Drishti to feel rich, and the happiness gets drawn towards you. Second point, inner peace is the new success. Call yourself successful only when you are in a state of peace. No matter what comes to you, your state of peace, your happiness is not disturbed. You are at peace. No one can bang your head and pull out anger from you. No one can pull out deceitful nature out of you. No one can make you jealous, because now you're successful. You have a state of inner peace and you have full control over yourself. That's what Samik Drishti is. Number 3, your real wealth is your health. Right? If you are healthy, you can do so much. If you're unhealthy, even a nice sweet or an ice cream starts feeling yucky to you. So your health is your biggest wealth. So make your body stress less. No stress, no negative emotion. And finally, what is the new cool? New cool is not having Nike shoes or not having some amazing Ferrari cars. The new cool is kindness. And this is what the whole world is talking about right now. Be kind, and because Samik Drishti's feeling zone is forgiveness, he's constantly in a state of kindness, happiness, joy, right? What flows out of him is love all the time. It is a new cool. How cool would you look if you were full of love all the time and smiling all the time? Everyone would want to be like you then. They want to be like you. They feel, how come this person is always smiling and always full of courage and always extraordinary? I want to be as extraordinary as you, right? Become the new cool, become kind. Okay, that was it for the presentation. Okay, and now if you have any questions in the chat or anywhere, let me just look at this. I would absolutely be ready to answer. And before I end, the presentation I have created. So if there are any mistakes or anything that you find which is not suitable, let me know so I can change it. But every single thing was based out of what acharyas tell us. Now, for joining Pathshala, if any one of you wants to join the Pathshala that we are taking, we are doing Pathshala twice a week, which is on Wednesdays and Fridays. If anyone is interested in uplifting and becoming extraordinary, come join us. Or join Pathshalas wherever it's happening. It's not just ours, just join anywhere, everywhere, and become that extraordinary self. So please take a picture of this slide, which is from age group 6 to 9. You need to contact Namrata Kasliwal, that's her number. And for age group 10 to 16, you need to contact me, which is Surbhi, and that's my number. And thank you so much. I hope you had a wonderful time with this presentation. And meanwhile, let me get myself back into the meeting and check out your question answers. How can I, did I stop sharing? Is my screen stopped sharing? Can you stop sharing? I can't get out. Stop share. Okay, got it. Perfect. I don't see any questions here. Awesome presentation, great strategy. Love you, enjoy it. It is an amazing strategy because you know what? This is what I do whenever I'm in a fix. All I do is, what would Samik Rishi do in this situation? And suddenly I switch it on my bulb, and I'm out of that situation in no time. Be that. You become your own superhero. Become that. Thank you so much for writing that line for me. And let's join our hands. If anyone wants have any questions and you want me to unmute you or you want to unmute yourself, please go ahead. Else, we can join our hands and just say Namokar mantra. Okay, let's begin. Take a deep breath. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Airiyanam, Namo Vachayanam, Namo Loe Savasamnam, Aiso Panchanamo Yaro, Sava Pavapanasano, Manglanam Cha Savisim, Padmam Havai Mangalam. See you tomorrow. Back to Tatvar Sutra chapter 5 with matter, molecules, atoms to the scientific world, seeing from the eyes of our Acharya Uma Swami. And we have 2 more days left of this lecture, and I will complete the chapter 5 for you tomorrow at 3:30 for this class. Jai Janendra.